You are now tuned.
Bart Radio.
Magandang evening sa inyong lahat. We are back with the number one podcast here in Manila, the Bart Podcast. And today, join me as I welcome our special guest for tonight, and we will be talking about audio, sound, and the latest sound equipment here on the Bart Podcast. And before we move on to the session of the night, let us thank our sponsors for this evening's show.
Ngayong Pasko, Shopee Free Shipping! Ano man ang gusto, Shopee Free Shipping! Ano man ang kailangan, Shopee Free Shipping! Nasaan ka man, Shopee Free Shipping! Merry Christmas! Shopee Free Shipping! Shopee 11/11 Big Christmas Sale. Enjoy free shipping with zero minimum spend nationwide. Basta Christmas shopping, Shopee!
Now on air.
Baby, let's
Bart
go!
Radio.
And welcome back to the Bart Podcast with your host, DJ Ace, sa ating night show because this will be a Taglish podcast night. So, medyo malalim at medyo English. Tayo na bahala dyan sa mga nakikinig dyan sa radyo, sa TV, sa bahay, sa jeepney, sa taxi. Tayo po ay mag-iingat at medyo maulan ng ating gabi kaya po tayo magdala ng payong. And now, once again, join me as I welcome our special guest for tonight, none other than Brian Soriano. A round of applause, please, everyone. Alright, so again, let us now welcome Brian.
Hello. Yes, thank you. My name is Brian, and thank you for having me for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Kahit medyo magabi-gabi na.
Yeah, anong oras na rin? Ang oras natin sa Kapuluan eksaktong 11:30 ng gabi, no? So, okay, Brian, kamusta ka naman so far? How are you?
Okay naman. Chill lang.
Chill,
Hindi
yeah.
masyadong, nagsistress.
Oh, medyo busy tayo sa mga works, sa study works natin no?
Oo,
So,
okay.
di ba? Just go. Okay, so let's start with the podcast, no? And
Sige.
balik tayo dun sa una nating activity. Yan. Ito. As you can remember, 'di ba, yung unang activity natin noon sa sound design, yung maglalagay ka ng sound dun sa pusa ba yun? Dun sa cartoon animation, 'di ba?
Yeah. Yung the cat animation with the
Yeah.
with the sound effects. Yes, of
Chunky
course.
fatty bro. Sound effect. Di ba? Yung, tawag dito. At first, nung pinapanood ko siya, ang unang pumasok talaga sa isip ko is yung parang, I would treat it like yung parang sa Tom and Jerry. Ganon. Pero,
Yeah.
pero as we all know naman, sa ngayon, sobrang lala ng meme culture natin. So yun yung ginawa ko. So, tawag dito, habang pinapanood ko siya, medyo parang, okay, alam ko nilalagay ko. Basing din sa, kumbaga, nagkaroon na rin naman ng-experience sa paglagay ng sound since we had courses na rin naman na, for example, yung short film editing, mga ganun. Tapos, Brian, ikaw ba? Ano bang unang naging, kumbaga, ano yung naging unang reaction mo when nung nakita mo na, ito pala yung lalagyan natin ng sound?
Honestly, nung akala ko kasi parang simple lang na mga sound effects gagawin. Pero when I saw the animation, I was kind of shocked because there's so many elements to put for sound on. It's like, not only do you have like the cat and the guy interacting, you also have the environment, right? You have the vases, their shoes when they walk and stuff. There's a lot of things you don't really consider when you're watching it on the television or like on YouTube, right? But when you start doing it yourself, you kind of have to problem solve every scene because that needs to sound like this. That one also needs to have a sound like that. You know? And
Yeah, that's true naman. And tawag mo dito, ano rin eh, kumbaga, iti-take in mo rin yung idea na kailangan mong ayusin yung, kumbaga dapat yung sound na mahanap mo, like the sound file that you have to use is clear. Yung talagang hindi siya glitchy, hindi siya parang yung ni-record lang na kung saan, di ba?
Yes, it has to be clear, right? It has to fit the scene. If it doesn't fit,
yeah,
it's gonna feel out of place. Like, oh, do I have something running in the background? Or
I mean, if out of place ang pag-uusapan natin, di ba? I mean, mostly nilagay ko dun, hindi naman nagsasalita yung pusa, pero bigla siyang yari-yari does eh.
I mean,
Diba?
okay, it depends on the
Context.
the mood you set, the context, right?
Oh, diba? The
Like
context.
when you set the mood on what kind of the editing you're gonna do, people already expect it to be funny. But if you like what I did with mine, I actually went for a bit more realistic kind of approach, try to get it as accurate as I can, because
okay.
I couldn't, because I was getting irritated on finding sound effects online, because whatever I tried to do, it was never on par on what's happening on screen. So I ended up actually foleying the sound effects myself.
May finoli ka dun?
Everything actually is foley. Yeah.
I mean, may first activity pa lang natin, nag-foley ka na agad?
I mean, it's like I like quality, you know, because it feels a little bit disgraceful to have like a cat meowing, but it doesn't look like it's getting thrown back onto the wall, right?
I mean, kung magfo-foley ka naman kasi, 'di ba? I mean, dapat tahimik yung surroundings mo, yung environment mo, like para
yes,
talaga nasa studio na hindi maingay, na the sound that you're creating is yun lang yung
Crisp.
sound na mapipick up niya, wala nang ibang sound na
Yes.
mapipick up pa, right?
Yeah, that is
Diba?
one of the problems actually. But the solution to that is recording at very late at night.
Pero may magigising ka naman na kapitbahay. Medyo iba naman na yun.
Ano na yun?
O di
Just
kayo
say sorry.
yung kapatid mo, di ba? Say sorry.
Say sorry after,
Kumbaga, we practice sound and let's practice values. Excellence and virtue.
Tama. That's right.
Di ba? Okay. Yung yung dun sa yung ako regarding dun sa first activity natin nun, I remember para ko makuha mismo yung context kasi I wasn't actually satisfied dun sa binigay na video na wala ng sound. So I really had to search for the original video, and I did. Para rin kasi gusto ko rin kasi na not only the sound quality is good, but also the video, kasi 'di ba parang medyo parang 4080p yung binigay sa akin. I remember.
Yes.
'Di ba? So I downloaded the 1080p, so parang ako lang ata nakapag-submit ng 1080.
Full
1080 that
HD.
time.
Yeah.
Full HD, 2K.
2K.
Yeah. Pero again, the sound is, I mean, kahit na ano pang gawin mo or anything that you would do in a video, kahit anong quality pa niyan, ang bubuhay pa rin yan is sound, because even if you close your eyes, diba? Even if you close your eyes, the sound is always there.
Yeah,
Wow, so
of
deep.
course.
So deep. I mean, diba?
That's true though. It's true. It's like you can't just experience something visually, right? Yeah, it's like back in the day, even silent films, you know, they had like orchestra underneath to aid the performance of the film, right? Because sound really does amplify a scene. You know, if you tried watching horror movies without the music or like without the audio, it's gonna look very funny.
True. Diba?
Yes.
Pero tawag dito, before we go ahead Nga pala, before we go ahead to any other topics natin, let us again thank our sponsors for this next ad. So we'll be right back, guys, sa ating podcast. Stay tuned as me and Brian talk more about our experiences and realizations sa sound design natin, audio and sound equipments, only here on the Bart Podcast.
Eagle Cement ang matibay. Eagle Cement ang matibay. Eagle Cement ang matibay. Eagle High sa tibay. Sa standard ng Pinas, higher ang Eagle Cement. Sa standard ng mundo, higher ang Eagle Cement. Sa compressive strength, higher ang Eagle Cement. Eagle High sa tibay. Eagle High sa tibay.
Yo, what's up?
Simply the best. Bart Radio.
Okay, and again, welcome back to the Bard Podcast with our topic for tonight, which is audio and sound design, which is mostly our academic experiences and all. So, yeah, we have here Brian. Yeah, Brian for our guest for tonight. So, again, tayo magbabalik sa ating usapan. We were talking about the first activity that we had, which was the cat. So next naman namin is mostly on the scoring for the gameplay for the activity. So Brian, ano naman yung take mo dun sa activity na yun, dun sa mag-i-score ng gameplay?
Actually, I like that a little bit more because I like cinematic stuff. So the gameplay was more of a sneaky gameplay, right? It's a Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Was it Metal Gear? Yeah, it was Metal Gear.
Yeah, it was Metal Gear. Yeah.
So the player was going around sneaking down through like a riverbed and stuff like that. But I had to cut some of the stuff myself because it just didn't fit the scene. Yeah, there's a lot of running.
Yeah.
So I cut a little bit of things, make sure it was a little fluid, and then I added the music. So there is interesting parts about it is because I used 3 different music scores for it. One was a stealth esque kind of a stealth-esque sound.
Pero wait lang, makat
Yeah,
lang kita saglit. Pero we didn't hindi tayo pwede gumamit or we can't actually use copyrighted background sounds.
Yes.
then,
That was the thing. Yeah. So I had to dig into the depths of the internet for free stuff.
royalty free.
Yes, as you do. Yeah, but yeah, so it had some stealth stuff, and then one scene was a lot of running. So, nagya ako na major action, tense.
Action
Not
music,
really
yeah.
action music, but tense. You know, like build up.
Yeah.
And then the last part is yung shooting part. So I added the actual action music for the climax of the scene. That was my take on it.
Okay.
So how about you? Like, what did you do for your version?
Ako actually nung una kong pinanood yung clip, the gameplay clip of the Metal Gear. I'm not actually that familiar with the game because hindi ko pa naman siya nalalaro eh.
Right.
I mean, I'm a fan of games like that, but I haven't played it before. So, I think that became a challenge. Pero with the scoring part, not really as well since I think I can actually determine naman since malaking factor din naman talaga ang music pagdating sa gameplay. I mean the gameplay clip had already a scoring background, 'di ba? Pero
Yeah.
kumbaga there was more room for improvement kaya din natin ginawa yun. So mostly ang ginamit ko dun is like I used to sound like I used to background music. Like yung una is actually both of them was from Kevin MacLeod, if I could remember. Do you know Kevin?
No, actually.
The god of royalty free sa YouTube. You should know that guy.
I'll check it out. I'll check
yeah.
it out later. Yes.
Kevin MacLeod. Yeah, every YouTuber in existence as of now, most of them, 70 to 80% of the YouTube peeps actually uses Kevin MacLeod's royalty-free music.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it's good. Yeah, he has good recordings, good royalty-free background musics. So yun yung ginamit ko, yun yung nilagay ko. And tawag mo dito, there was a part, the climax where the guy was running. I mean the player was running.
Yes, yes.
So ayun, so I had to, I mean I found a really good one. Like there's a part in the scoring where it like tones down like a sneaky tone.
Yeah.
Tapos, yeah, when he starts running again, parang sabay sila no scoring na like dung 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 dung, so something like that. So ayun, natuwa lang din ako dun sa part na yun. So
yes.
yeah, it was a good activity.
Yeah, the scene
I was actually
yes. Sorry.
That's like, I mean, ano kasi, I mean, after that, I was actually looking forward for more activities like that. Like, next naman is, like, for example, half of a movie, something like that. So, wala siyang audio. So, tayo bahala doon. Diba? Parang, more challenging siya in a way na when it comes to putting the right effects, the right sound.
Yes.
And it takes it to another level eh. Kung short film yan, medyo carry pa. Pagdating na ng movie, medyo
kinda need that team.
Medyo critical. Yeah, it's sound team na kailangan mo sa ganyan eh, di ba?
Speaking of movie stuff, actually during that activity I was actually looking for references, like in Inception. It has a really good soundscape. It's very good sound design as well.
True.
So I was kind of looking on that, referencing like how do you switch from moments of tense scenes to moments of sudden high impact action, right? So that's mostly where I got my ideas how to use some of the musics I got.
For me naman, I could say na I already have inspirations when it comes to gameplay editing. Kasi some of my friends are actually streamers, then they would send me, they would pay me to edit their clips. Like for example, I edited like a League of Legends gameplay, then I mean
right, yeah, you showed me that, right?
Yeah, diba? Kumbaga, tawag ko dito, maganda sa sound. Is that the right term?
Yes. It's sound design.
Parang maganda. Yeah, it's sound design. I mean, pagdating sa game, kasi I'm heavily inspired by Vanos Gaming, by Paluluman, yung mga more on meme heavy gameplay editing.
Kind of a funny moments kind of design, right?
Yeah.
My favorite one for those is Smitty, if you know him.
Yeah, I know Smitty.
Smitty actually applies custom sounds to what's happening on the screen, which is very interesting because you kind of double think to yourself, is that actually part of the game?
I mean, diba? I mean, Foley and custom sounds, I think, also applies a heavy role when it comes to creative decisions like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to Foley, okay, let's now go to Foley. I mean, anybody could be a Foley artist, but not really because ano ang kalaban mo talaga pagdating sa ganyan is yung um equipment. Yeah.
Very, very much
Okay,
so. Yes.
that was the term. Equipment is a heavy
Factor to it. Right?
is a heavy factor. Yeah, it's a big role when it comes to recording. Kasi you have to be in a studio, you have to have these high-end microphones, tapos the softwares na high-end din.
I mean, it's
'Di ba?
it's an actual performance, because you're not just recording sound effects. You are acting the sound effect itself that's happening, right? Like if someone is walking, you can't just add, a regular walk speed sound to someone that's, scurrying across the room, doing something like that, right?
Mm. And it's very hard kasi if you're just gonna base, for example, you're just gonna base on a sound bank of, for example, sound effects like walking, the door closing. Sometimes it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, it doesn't
You
really
have
match
to
up.
actually,
Right?
yeah, you actually have to fit. You have to slow it down for it to fit, or you have to compress it to become faster para magsakto siya dun sa mismong action dun sa movie. So it's mostly a hit or miss when it comes to actually downloading sound effects on a sound bank or sa YouTube or sa sound effect bank pa man yan na dinownload mo. It really it doesn't always work.
It doesn't.
So, kumbaga, so swerte ka na lang if your sound bank has all these kinds of door closing. It has 20 or to 30 kinds of door closing. You're in a good. You found the jackpot. You found the treasure, di ba?
Yeah. Honestly,
Diba?
like I think it's both. You can use it. You can have a sound bank for the default stuff in the background, like say ambient noises, right? Let's say kind of like a sound effect of cars moving by, or a door. Like doors are very common, right? They have the same dimensions anyway, so they sound
Yeah.
the same thing. And like the process would be parang ano siya, diba? So you find more in the bank, and then you finish it up with Foley, to get the accuracy na you need.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand naman yung point mo dun. So, tawag dito. Kumbaga, pagdating sa Foley, it actually stand on how much money you have. Not really on the skills. The
The
skills
skills are
can be
there.
learned.
Yeah, it can carry you.
The
but,
equipment, no. The equipment, no.
equipment, yes. Yeah.
Diba?
Oh, speaking of like equipment, right? We also like went into, what do you call that? The front of the house. We can talk about that, right?
Actually, the sound equipments from the front of the house, the backstage, the tech room,
Mm.
the radio broadcasting room,
Yes.
Um,
You had experience with those before, haven't you? Right?
I had experience back even when I was in high school,
Mhm.
diba? So, tawag dito, even though I have the upper hand, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Ano pa rin eh, you wouldn't be kumbaga if every equipment differs from each other sa brand,
The setup to setup,
diba?
right? Like your
the
PC.
setup, yeah.
Yes, of course.
A house setup would be like your PC, your headset, your mic, that's it.
Mm.
But when it comes to like the professional standards,
It's a lot more equipment.
you have the work standards, you have the entertainment standards. So it differs from one another, but
Exactly.
at the end of the day, the perfect set, it's actually a personal choice. It's actually a personal taste when it comes to set.
Yes.
Because you might be the guy na you like old kit sets, like for example an old Behringer,
Mhm.
like they have they add, or they have a different tone when it comes to recording. So the more modern, I guess, the more modern, of course, the more expensive it
Oh,
is,
of
the more
course.
higher quality you make,
Yes, yes.
diba?
Like, honestly, it was such an experience to like actually see those kinds of equipment because in terms of making in my own audio and stuff, like I do live streams too, right? So I kind of use some of that knowledge to work on
Mm-mm.
my own things, make sure my audio is clear and crisp on the other end, right? But the
Yeah.
interesting one where we did actual kind of production was when we had to make our own music to dub over a scene, right? That was
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
For
The one with the
yeah,
scripts
for me,
na parang nasa radyo and everything, like an ad, like an
yes,
advertisement,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, that was interesting. Also for you guys,
Yes.
yeah.
To our listeners, yeah. Diba? So, kumaga, tawag dito, it really differs on each taste because tawag dito, when it comes to musical nga
Mhm.
when it comes to musical, each conductor has its taste. One could be heavy on cymbals or on wind instruments.
Yes.
The other could be on the violins, on the piano. So everybody has its own taste when it comes to listening to music and creating music,
Hmm.
and the impact of the sound itself,
Yes, yes.
'di ba? And I mean, at saka, okay, for our last topic for the night, okay,
Mhm.
the kumbaga, the now and then natin pagdating sa sound
Yes,
setup.
yes.
Yeah, 'di ba? I mean, ako, okay, start. Sige, ikaw
Ako
muna.
muna. Ay,
Bang,
nako.
ano ba sa tingin mo yung now and then mo when it comes to sound?
Start ko sa then. Then was just honestly, it's just my PC. It's a base. It's just the motherboard. There's no specific audio setup I had. It's just a basic
Yeah.
headphone, right? It's a basic headphone. But I was
Mm-mm.
already into the audio thing. I'd like to experience audio a bit more than just hearing it, right? So
Yeah.
over time, I kind of collected a little bit more of advanced things. And for now, what I actually have is one of the softwares that I use as a driver is Dolby Atmos. So I have a Dolby Atmos driver.
Atmos?
Yes, the one that they use in,
Sana all.
yeah, the one that they use in games.
Sana all may pambayad ng Dolby Atmos.
No, but it's lifetime though. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take that. That's on Windows, so I'm gonna take that. That's on my account now. And this thing is such a game changer because since I have a surround
Actually.
sound headphones, right? Games feel so wide, right? Because usually it's just left and right, right? Someone walks, you hear on the left, or someone shoots on the right. But now, this, I can actually tell the distance they are from me, and if they're behind me directly or above me. That's the game changing part. Because I would play games and I would hear them above me, and I would get the very interesting feeling with that because you're not usually used to that, right? And
Yeah.
in addition to that, I have a microphone with a microphone stand. I'm using it right now. It's a Red Dragon USB microphone. It's a very basic, cheap microphone, but it's very clear, and that's the important part. No matter
Yeah, exquisite.
no matter how exquisite your microphone is, if you don't make it clear on the software side, it's just a waste of money, right?
Diba?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I also have like two desktop speakers, but those are just like basic desktop speakers. It's just for, when I'm doing something, I don't want to be sat down, locked in with my headphones and stuff like that, right? How about you? What's your
Yeah.
setup? You're the audio aficionado.
Wow.
Between the two of us.
The audio editor and the player aficionado.
Yes, yes.
Self-called. Pero yeah, I mean, ever since life story.
Oh man.
Ever since I was in ever since I can remember, I was like 5 or 6.
What you were gonna say ever since you
I-
were born?
Since I was a fetus, I already hear music.
Music,
Wow.
DJ na. DJ.
Oh, merong anong tawag dun sa yung parang
Metronome.
anong tawag dun?
Metronome.
Metro,
Yes.
may metronome na ako sa tiyan ng nanay ko, yung puso niya, di ba?
Okay, sige.
Di ba? A
Continue.
biological metronome. Okay, so since I was 5 or 6, I was already fond of music.
Mhm.
I remember back then, kasi my family actually, my family loves music. Every morning they would play the radio. Yeah, also the radio is a big factor, you know, the potential. Diba?
Right,
Sabi nga, the potential. I mean, it's one of the factors na, kumbaga, I can't really tawag dito. Kumbaga, I mean, hindi ako masyado naging picky sa songs. I mean, sa musical genres, you know. Pero I'm not really a fan of hard metal, you know, something like that. Parinig mo na lahat, wag lang yan. So, anyway,
Yes.
5 or 6, I had my first, like, technological, I think it was a PSP, PS2, or whatnot, or it's also an MP3. So yeah, I had my first MP3. Then I would download Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, mga first favorite artist ko dati. Yung Black Eyed Peas. I would listen to their Monkey Business album. Tapos, I would use this cheap ass earphones. Cheap ass earphones. So, kumbaga, nag-start ako doon. I started from the lowest. I started from this cheap MP3, tapos cheap headphones. Then, as time goes by, my eyes were open to more better earphones, to headphones.
More na, better na. No?
But, yeah, better. Di ba? Better na. Mag-upgrade tayo. Habang tumatanda ka, mag-upgrade ang mga bagay-bagay din. Di ba?
Don't you have like,
Mahirap naman pag...
today, don't you have like in-ear monitors? Is that what that's called? Or
In-ear. Yeah, it's actually in-ear pero it's Bluetooth.
Bluetooth?
Kasi,
Wow.
yeah, Bluetooth. Bluetooth.
Wireless.
Tawag dito. Kumbaga, okay, naalala ko, nag-start siya parang cheap as earphones. Tapos, next, nag-move on to yung mga nabibili sa bangketa na, the tube earphones. At first, I was okay with the flat ones. You know that kind of earphones. I was okay with the flat ones. Then, I discovered the tube ones. Then, kumbaga, from there, hindi na ako gagamit ng flat. Flat is too weak. Too weak for me. Ganun, diba?
It doesn't really have that much bass, let's be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't have much bass. Tapos the noise is
Matinis siya eh.
yung noise niya.
Yeah.
Hindi lang siya tunog lahat. Yung noise na nanggagaling sa outside, wala siyang noise cancelling, of course.
Of course.
Kapag wala talaga noise
Of course.
Kumbaga, yun, kumbaga, naging eye-opener din sa akin yung nabablock out yung sound from the outside.
I remember.
So, it was a big factor for me.
I remember that was like being commercialized, and I was kind of shocked that, oh wow, that's actually possible. You can.
The first, yeah, diba? Parang, wow, what is this? What is this new thing?
Yes.
Tapos, tago dito. I can remember the first time I tried one of those was from my mom. it was a Sony. Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
at the early age, I was introduced to Sony, and I was like, okay, this is
That explains a lot,
anything
actually.
that I would buy in the future na earphones or headset, it would be Sony. I mean JBL. I mean, okay, I have two earphones right now. The one is wired,
Mhm.
the one is Bluetooth. So the first one is a T210 na wired na earphones ng JBL. It's good. Um Frequency spectrum wise, it's not that flat. Um Medyo high siya sa bass.
Right. Right.
It's not really that flat. I mean, if you're looking, okay, for anybody who is looking for like the best frequency flat headphones, go to the Sennheiser, yeah,
Mhm.
Sennheiser HD's HD1 HD600. HD600, that's one of the most um normal or flat frequency, like there's no wala masyadong bass, wala masyadong treble, so it's all flat. So if you're looking, if you're really a sound aficionado, you have the money to invest on headphones that is really good,
Right. Right.
go for the Sennheiser HD600. Yeah, that's really good. So from Sony, I mean, I have been a Sony fan, then I have been a Beats fan, but knowing what happened to Beats, like they were like just scamming their not really scam. I mean, their sound is not that good. They're just paying for the brand,
Exactly.
like Apple.
I would say it's kind of like Gucci, because at least Apple delivers some of the things like their UI,
In their phones today, not
the
not
phones.
really
No,
anymore.
I'd say like the computers and iPad, maybe they're still delivering.
So, ayun, tawag ko dito.
Like-
Okay, my then, even though I have these knowledge or experience, I mean, then ko is a PC, tapos the wired earphones. Actually, the wired earphones came first before my Sony Bluetooths. My Sony actually my Sony is Sony WI-XB400, so that is wireless extra bass. WI-XB. When it's WI, it means wireless. Then XB is the platform for Sony for extra bass. So yeah, it's kind of pricey. I bought this around 2.8
Grabe,
when I was still working nung pandemic. Syempre,
Treat yourself
may pera
naman.
ka. Go
Syempre.
treat yourself. Happy Merry Christmas, Char. Tapos, okay, so that was my then. Then my mic was my video camera.
Oy.
A Red Dragon. Yeah, a Red Dragon. Red Dragon camera. Wag ka, I bought this just like 900, and the video quality is 1080. Like, it's really clear.
Honestly,
Then
like,
maganda rin yung pickup ng sound niya.
dude, honestly, like all of my stuff is Red Dragon. My mouse used to be Red Dragon. Mic, keyboard,
Ano ka,
headphones.
advertiser ka.
No, they just.
Sponsored by Red Dragon.
Oh, I wish, but no. They were just. It's really good. It's a good bang for the buck. Like, it's a good starting brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good starting equipment talaga.
Really, yes.
So guys, if you're looking for, for entry level stuff when it comes to PC audio, try Red Dragon. I mean, it doesn't hurt trying Red Dragon talaga.
It's fairly cheap. It's under 1,000 mostly for most of their equipment.
Yeah.
It's also a Red Dragon, advertising. I can do advertising then.
Red Dragon sponsor,
Sponsor.
please. And if you're looking, 'di ba? So I mean, that is for you guys. I mean, that's for you to
Explore. Explore.
kayo na bahalang tumingin
Yeah,
kung
it's
gusto niyo ba
mostly
talaga yun.
all of this thing is just enjoy, because sound is such a wonderful thing to explore because there's so many nuances to it, and it's a nice little adventure you can go for yourself, stuff like that.
Diba? And tawag mo dito. Doon na tayo sa Naoko.
Oh, yeah. Go. Sige, go.
Okay, so yung Naoko, PC pa rin. Wala naman ako pera bumili ng equalizer, mixer, and Chenes, Chervelin.
Yes. Ako rin naman.
Kumbaga, PC, tapos nag-upgrade, nagkaroon ng condenser mic na binili sa Shopee for 300. Pero it's good, di ba? I mean, okay naman yung sound ko ngayon. Diba?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Tapos, I mean, okay, we didn't touch software. So, pagdating sa software kasi, ang software ko lang ever since Acoustica Mixcraft. So, just on simple editing sounds. So, kumbaga, doon ako natuto mag-cut, mag-split, and everything. Pero more on composing, I'm not experienced sa part na yun kasi I don't know any instruments. So yun. So yun yung software na gamit ko. Nakalimutan ko actually ilagay dun sa now and then natin na activity. Yun ko lang na-realize. Hindi ko na ilagay yung pangalan ng software na ginagamit ko, di ba?
Ay lang ang software
virtual
ko.
DJ.
Yung Dolby lang naman yun.
Dolby.
I think it's like,
I
I think, ang kano ba yun? I think I bought it like, somewhere around like 50 US.
Oh, US. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's on the, no, it's actually pretty good. It's a
Okay.
good sound driver.
It's good naman talaga.
It's like solid.
Alam mo, pag ang sound driver mo Dolby, muwi ka na. Kami na lang mag-aaway dito. About sino may kapag may Dolby ka, goods ka na. Yun. Okay. So,
Honestly, like, it's a pay to
Okay.
win if you wanna win more Valorant. Just saying.
ay, sorry. Pagdating sa gaming, basic equipment tayo. Hindi natin kailangan ng wala sa equipment yan. Nasa skill yan.
Are you saying? Grabe, nawan up ako.
Che. Hindi yan ang topic
I
natin.
know. Just mocking around.
Tumigil ka.
But yeah, guys,
Anyway.
that's
So, ayan. So, my then is my PC, my software, which is Vegas Pro.
Vegas Pro.
Vegas Pro.
Everyone
tsaka
uses Vegas.
Acoustica.
Let's be honest. Everyone uses
Yeah,
Vegas.
I'm a Vegas Biosh. Biosh.
Vegas
Because
veteran.
we are also Vegas veteran. Tapos may Sony WI XB400s. And then my condenser mic. Yeah, that's my now. Kumaga, I'm just happy na kumaga I could invest some on my equipment. Pero pinaka-importante pa rin sa akin, my daily use. Actually, I cannot go anywhere without it is my earphones talaga.
Your earphones talaga.
Sony.
Understandable.
Yeah, my
You
earphones.
showed it to me. It's pretty good. Like, it's kinda...
Diba?
For me, my daily carry is my JBL Bluetooth speaker.
Hindi earphone speaker.
Honestly, come on, dude. The bass is kinda good though.
Ano naman? I mean, okay. When it comes to speakers, I will not argue about JBL and Sony.
Definitely.
Kumbaga yung dalawang yan. Yeah. Sony mostly kasi sa earphones, so medyo arguable pa Sony pagdating sa speaker, but when it comes to JBL, okay. But hindi pa rin natin pwede kalimutan ng Sennheiser, hindi pa rin natin pwede kalimutan ng mga yung mga kumbaga
The big boys.
we can call the mythical titans of sound. Kasi ang Sony at saka JBL mga actually Sony is one of the titans eh. Pero they're the forefront titans. JBL and Sony, they're the forefront. Ang Behringer, sila yung kumbaga Colossal Titans.
Colossal Titans.
Kasi sila yung mga pang-performance eh. Sila yung mga pang-performance. Kumbaga Sony at saka JBL, they're for the daily use.
Yeah.
So, diba?
That's actually a good...
The potential...
That's a good like audio divide of like clarifying daily use and then performance. It's actually pretty good.
You can never go wrong with something like Behringer or like Sennheiser. You can never go wrong with that. Diba? So again, that's Brian.
Yes.
Yan so far ang ating realization sa topic na to, sa ating sound design, no? It's a really good realization. Tapos,
it's really fun too. Very fun.
Yeah. It was fun. I mean, tawag dito. Kumbaga nagamit ko yung editing music ko so far. You know, the potential and the role, diba, sa multimedia as multimedia artists, students.
For me, I learned in important, and then I get to use it on my own things. That's the best part for me.
And the creative works as well.
Oh, definitely.
Ayun, so alright, so that would be our long podcast for tonight. And any partaking words, Brian, before we end this sound podcast we have for tonight?
No, not much. I already said what I wanted to said, so it's honest. Sound is such an interesting topic. You know, it's nice to talk about it.
Actually, if we delve in deeper, abot pa tayo sa sound sa brain eh. Pero syempre,
I think that's a different.
That's for another
That's
day.
for another day. Yes. So thank you for
day.
having me.
Alright. Ayan. So, thank you very much, Brian. And sa ating listeners, maraming salamat po. Thank you for listening to the Bart Podcast. So the Bart Podcast is very thankful for having you, Brian. Thank you again. Thank you. Ayan. So,
Thank you then.
and okay. All right. So, yep, that is it for tonight. Again, thank you very much everyone sa mga nakikinig dyan sa radyo, sa TV, sa bahay, sa taxi, sa jeepney. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtutok dito sa The Bart Podcast with the audio topics. And this was your podcast DJ Ace, signing off and saying thank you for listening to the Bard Podcast.
Shopee PP, sa Shopee bumili sa Shopee P. Sa Shopee bumili sa Shopee P. Mabibili ay kay dami, free shipping pa sa Shopee P. Pasko na sa Shopee P, halina't mag-Shopee. Pasko na sa Shopee.
Free shipping up to 60 pesos on select days and time. Promo runs from November 12 to December 12, 2019. Per DTI Fair Trade Permit Number FTEB 19973 Series of 2019.
Yo, what's up? Simply the best. Bart Radio.